Yesterday, the NFL agreed to stop using a racist practice which bases brain injury settlements, and that's of course a big topic when it comes to the NFL, on standards that assumed that black players and their cognition levels were lower than those of white players. No, I'm not kidding. This is actually something that was applied to a process in determining whether or not black NFL players qualified for a settlement as a result of brain injuries they suffered while they were players. Now, race norming is what it's called. It's sometimes used in medicine as a rough proxy for socioeconomic factors that can affect someone's health. Experts in neurology said the way it's used in the NFL settlement is too simplistic and restrictive and has the effect of systematically, I should say, discriminating against black players. So there's an ABC News story or video that I'm gonna toss to that kind of explains this in better detail, but just understand that this is a way for the NFL to avoid paying settlements to black athletes who have clearly suffered brain injuries as a result of the sport that they were playing. Let's watch.
The effect of using this race norm for the NFL is that it drastically limits the amount of damages they're going to have to pay out. It's almost the classic definition of racial discrimination, using race as a basis of denying benefits to a disadvantaged or subordinated group because of race.
And now, in a lawsuit, Henry and another former player are accusing the NFL of avoiding paying head injury claims based on a formula that requires race norming. They say the practice is discriminatory because it assumes black players start at a lower cognitive level than white players, and that makes it harder for black former players to qualify for compensation.
I just want to be looked at the same way as a white guy. We went out together and we played hard together. It wasn't no white or black thing. We lost together, we won together.
So the NFL is now agreeing to stop using that measure in determining whether or not athletes qualify for the settlement, and they do have a $1 billion settlement like pool that they're using to pay out money to athletes who have suffered from brain injuries as a result of the nature of the sport. CTE is something that we talked about quite a bit on the show when that story broke, and that's what this is all about. So Woz, I'm curious what your thoughts are about this. Did you know that they were using this tactic to deny athletes the settlement money that they deserve?
No, I had no idea, but I can't say that I'm surprised. They've basically been playing professional football in this country for about roughly 100 years. And in that 100 years, is within the last 6 years, I guess you could say, they first started embracing black people as people who are capable of playing the quarterback position. Why is that, Anna? The quarterback is considered to be the most cerebral, the most stoic, basically the person on the field with the most brain power. They shut black people out of that position for 100 years. Wow. You know, the thinking being that one, blacks aren't smart enough, and two, if blacks tend to be more athletic, and if you know how to run or if you know how to jump high, there's no way your brain could work correctly. This has been NFL policy and culture for 100 years. So it doesn't surprise me that these people within their policy in how they would pay out players for brain injuries would take in their own racist thoughts about black athletes into account. It goes hand in hand with how they've done business in the NFL for 100 years.
This story definitely helped me kind of draw a more comprehensive picture of the NFL. I mean, we knew that the NFL had serious race issues when they decided to essentially throw Colin Kaepernick away because of his peaceful protests to draw awareness to police brutality. I did not know that they intentionally blocked black athletes from serving as the quarterback position. And then you have this. I mean, I remember when Dave Rubin interviewed that Stefan Molyneux guy who wanted to have this disgusting discussion about brain sizes in white people versus black people, like skull sizes. Do you remember that? And little did I know that a major American sport has been, employing or using this racist tactic in order to prevent athletes from getting their fair settlements. It's gross. It's gross. And I didn't even hear about this story until fairly recently when the NFL decided, yeah, maybe we're getting enough backlash and we should stop doing this.
Yeah, and I've been saying it for years. Football is a sport that I love to watch, and I don't think I'll ever not love watching it. But football culture, to be quite frank, puts me off. It's very antebellum in its nature. Just to be completely real with you, it's a bunch of white old boy network dudes lording over a sport that is dominated at the professional ranks. I think it's about 70% African American. I may be right, maybe even higher than that. But you look across the board when it comes to management, coaching positions, all the things that don't require the actual physical labor of putting on the sport, it's all white. And they can never come up with reasons. They can never come up with adequate reasons why that's so. Besides, what am I supposed to take away that besides the fact that the people who are in charge of running this sport see African Americans as dumber, less smart than white people? That's just a fact. The people who run it, the people at the top, meaning the ownership groups at the top of football teams, they're the ones who make all of these decisions. They set the agenda. The players don't have any say in this. This is all set by the management and ownership groups of the 32 teams in the NFL. And they've consistently shown that they think black people are stupider than everybody else, less intelligent. And it's reflected in their management decisions, coaching decisions, and it's been that way for damn near 100 years.
Everyone check out Woz's work over at The Ringer. That is his full-time job where he is. I've been seeing a lot of, people are saying that you're doing a great job over at The Ringer. Like I saw Bhaskar Sankara, the publisher of Jacobin, tweet about it just yesterday. You were on with, was it Bill Simmons?
Bill Simmons, yes. The pod father. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So everyone check out Woz's work over at The Ringer, where he covers sports content and more.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.